Following up a decent SummerSlam with one of the worst Raws in the last 5 years. I'm John Ritlin with my review of WWE Raw, the go-home show for WWE Payback. AEW is the #1 American wrestling promotion on TV especially. It has been that way since Dynamite started. Fucking hell, WWE just cannot stay out of its own goddamn way. For all the faults that AEW has, and I'm going to be fair and say that they have some, growing pains to do, and I still stand by every single thing I said in my Dynamite review, even though I praised some stuff. Some people didn't like that I apparently, talked about something I didn't like. AEW is just more exciting and everything, and I can't wait for AEW this week, and I also can't wait for New Japan. Thank God for AEW and New Japan. New Japan, AEW, and WWE's all the way fucked down there. They have the most talent, or at least, the biggest talent pool. They have the most money, or at least, spend the most money. They have such a great amount of resources, and they keep fucking doing some of the worst television. This WWE Thunderdome concept is fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. So, Drew kicks off talking about Orton, saying I was just that much better. Says that Orton can get a match anytime he wants, gets a rematch. And then the dubbed-in crowd noise is absolutely ridiculous. There was a Benoit pick in the crowd. That was a killer sighting right there. That was a killer sighting. Now, we get a brawl with Orton, and then they brawl into the gorilla position. Orton whiffs the punt, not once, but twice. It's like whiff punishing. That reminds me of a Zero Punctuation episode I absolutely love. Zero Punctuation, that is. If you've ever seen it, you know what I'm fucking talking about. Yeah, he whiffed it twice. That's amazing. And he whiffed it again later. And then we get a Keith Lee package. Keith is bringing his BBC to Come In Raw. And oh boy, did they kind of botch everything up with him already. They did like a little bit of good and a lot of bad with him. Nia and Shayna. Okay, so we have Nia and Shayna doing the worst fucking insults. Shayna calling Nia Haystacks Calhoun. Nia called her an Addams Family, like cosplayer or ripoff or whatever the fuck it was, or wannabe. And then Shayna slaps her but says, hey, wait a second, maybe we should team up at some point. What is this show? I know that they only have 6 days to set up a card, but goddamn. I mean, fucking goddamn. I know it was probably supposed to be a Saudi show. This is fucking ridiculous. It really is fucking ridiculous. And then we get Shayna versus Bailey. And Nia's on the stage, and not even within a few minutes, we get a fucking DQ out of this. It's just, goddamn it. Bailey refuses to make thigh contact with Sasha. I think I remember that right. The submission work was nice, but yeah, Nia causes DQ. Every single thing had run-ins, DQs, whatever. It was a messy goddamn show. It's like Vince Russo is back booking WWE. And yeah, then we get Aleister Black in a dark broom closet. It's okay. Zelina needed to get, the materials out of there. She needed more lemon pledge. Then also Aleister is supposed to be on the KO show, which he's there. KO brings out Aleister, who is back, and he's Aleister Snake. Snake! He's basically, from Metal Gear Solid, in case you don't play video games, which I haven't played him for a while, but even I know who Snake is. I wonder who he thinks the Colonel is. Look out, Snake! Those guys that stole my tech suits are in there with you, or however that line went. Aleister should fight people in a goddamn elevator. Invisible people. Just fucking do it. Do the cinematic bullshit. They're already doing a whole bunch of bullshit. Now, this episode was infuriating because it wasn't even funny. It was just really bad television. It was really bad television. You can do car crash television, but it's like they didn't even try here. And I'm not saying the talents didn't try, but everybody behind the scenes didn't try. Everybody, including Bruce Pritchard, should be chased into an alligator-infested swamp. Then again, he would be around something, way less hillbilly and scaly than he actually is. I hate Bruce Pritchard. I wish he had never been fucking born. So, we get footage of the eye stuff, and then Aleister's upset and kicks KO in the head. Heel Aleister Black. Okay? I mean, whatever. I mean, I said they kind of turned Roman Reigns a little bit heel, or a little bit, badass when he came back at SummerSlam last night. So, whatever. Maybe Aleister can do something with it. We then get Sasha and Bailey, more of the same promo. Sasha needs to rest up to face Asuka a little bit later. Lumberjack match. We get Cedric versus Zazawa versus Shelton versus Truth. The Ninjas are out there. It's a 4-way match for the 24/7 championship. And Zazawa pins Truth to win the 24/7 title. I think Shelton had it originally. I refuse to really care about this. Then Shelton lays out all the Ninjas. Every single one of them. Every single one. Even ones that have died already, he somehow laid them out. I don't know how he did. He's a fucking magician. Oh boy, Orton's out to the ring. And he talks about being a legend killer and everything, punting Drew and all that stuff. Suddenly here's Keith Lee. Now, apparently they changed his name due to rights issues. I get maybe something happened with the rights to it. Maybe they didn't own the rights to it and only had it for like NXT, but had to pay more to use it on Raw. I don't know what the deal is. Or they just wanted to fuck up the whole goddamn theme and then change his gear. His gear is fucking terrible. His gear's goddamn terrible. It looks like they were giving him a skort, for God's sakes. You can dress how you goddamn want. It's just not a wrestling outfit, especially for somebody as talented as Keith Lee. It's just fucking ridiculous. Now, Keith Lee, the promo was fine. It was typical stuff. I prefer when he gets fired up, but you know what? He's an incredibly eloquent speaker. Like, you could listen to Keith Lee either read you bedtime stories or freaking destroy somebody that's pissing you off. That's just how good he is. That's how diverse he is. He's able to do both. Get you a guy that can do both. Mia Yim already has him. And good luck to both of them, and I wish them nothing but the best. In all honesty, they seem great for each other. So, Keith says, well, hey, the generic music aside and the gear aside, hey, you took out Drew. How about you face me? So we're getting the BBC versus Orton's Viper. Or BBC versus RKO, somebody said. And Orton says, maybe later. And then we get Garza with the Bachelor Real Doll, or whatever the fuck her name is, Demi something or other. I don't fucking know, and I don't fucking care. I'm sure she's nice. I don't know why the fuck she's here on TV. Why? Why is she here? Why is she here on a wrestling program? Is she interested in one of the wrestlers? Is she the girlfriend of one of the wrestlers? Like, seriously. Or is she, did she, bribe the USA Network execs to get on there? Or did they just think, hey, we'll just bring a celebrity here that nobody really fucking knows outside of Bachelor fans, all three of you? I don't fucking get it. And then Zelina and Charlie, and Garza's in the middle of three women. And Charlie wanted him the most. And then we get more of the poison stuff. Charlie's like, well, Zelina, it's pretty obvious you poisoned Montez Ford. I thought we were done with the storyline. And then the Blondies at ringside. Great. I wasn't annoyed enough already. We then get all, we get the Prophets doing the explosions and, all the cups and everything. We get, many cups and one Bachelor Blonde. So there we go. Two girls. But anyway, I'm not going to say that because I don't want you guys to go search for it. So Montez versus Garza. Montez is unstoppable. And that joke crashed much like, well, anyway. So Ivar is here. Hands, Demi, whatever the fuck her name is, his meat. Gives the meat right to her on camera. She's probably used to that. And then, they go away. They happily skip away and everything. The Viking Raiders are fucking wrecked. They're fucking goddamn wrecked. Why do they hate the Viking Raiders? This is serious. This is fucking abhorrent television. Make them ass kickers. Good thing I didn't say ass kissers. That's Bruce Pritchard. I don't fucking get it. So we get a frog splash because Garza's distracted by the blonde being taken away and entranced by Ivar's meat. And there we go. Montez needs to take it easy because as talented as he is, I'm afraid he's going to land on his head doing that shit one of these days. And I want that to happen. So Shayna then slaps Nia and then says, yeah, we'll team together. So yeah, I mixed up the segments because she actually slapped her here. It doesn't fucking matter. Then Ruby and Liv and, Bianca, we're going to whoop that trick, and I died a little inside. The Iconics and Zelina versus Ruby, Liv, and Bianca. I tweeted out, watch this get 5 minutes tops. It got 4. KOD pinned Zelina. I think she pinned Zelina. I stopped caring, honestly. While I criticize AEW for how they use their women's division and mainly featuring Brandy, and they fucking shouldn't, they have some talented women that deserve to be featured. WWE has plenty of talented women that deserve to be featured, and they're getting small matches or short matches or matches that are full of interference, and it's fucking embarrassing. And this is a prime example. I'm not saying that all 6 of these women can ever be, the greatest of all time, but they can all be utilized a whole lot better than they are. I like the Iconics. I think Zelina's underappreciated in the ring. Ruby and Liv deserve some more opportunities. Bianca is also pretty goddamn good. Yeah, 4 minutes instead of fucking hell. Then we get Cedric and Ricochet, doing the arm wrestling stuff, and then MVP is like, hey, I'm not talking to you, Ricochet, I'm talking to Cedric. And he says, and Ricochet says at one point, get your finger out of my face. We all know what he was fucking thinking. Not King Champion, just saying. So, and then get the arm wrestling contest hosted by Mark Henry, who looked like he wanted to literally be anywhere else. Cruz versus Lashley. Cruz wins by stepping on the foot of Lashley and beating him, and then he takes out the Hurt Business. We're getting Lashley versus Cruz at Payback. I'm not doing Payback predictions. You know why? Because I don't fucking care. And Angie is backstage, looking confused as fuck. Why is she there? I mean, is it because Ray can't drive? Ray can't drive. because of his eye, and they don't trust Dominic to drive. I don't know what the fucking deal is. It's a family affair. Ray and Dominic, more of the same, but you know what? You can tell Ray's proud of Dominic, and Dominic is, very happy to be able to work with his dad. So it's a good story. I don't give a shit about it, but it's a good story. And then we get Natty and Lana. They were trolling Mickey for about 30 seconds, and Mickey comes out in really, really tight leather pants, able to run in that. That's some good talent. And then, knocks Lana down for what she's worth, which isn't much of anything. And then I like Natty. I think a Natty Mickey program would actually be pretty good even in 2020. This is not the fucking way to do it. This is a bad idea. This is a bad way to use your women. And then we get Raw Underground. Lashley chokes out Discount Leo, and then Dolph, and Raw Underground's stupid. I'm sorry, to me, it's fucking stupid. And the shit I say here is just my opinion. People can disagree if they want, and that's cool. I love having discussions with you guys, but I don't know how somebody could really say that this was a great episode of Raw. If you saw something different than I did, that's great. To me, it just wasn't very good. And then we get Orton's Viper versus Keith's BBC. It barely gets started. Keith's gear is terrible. They did a few moves, but then Drew pulls Orton out of the ring, and then keeps repeatedly striking him, beating up his Viper, beating off his Viper, and then I'm losing my train of thought, and chases him off. And then, he after 2 punts. So Shawn Michaels no-sold the punt at one point. He was fine. And now Drew's fine after 2. And then he's talking, a little bit later, and then Orton whiffs another punt. 3 whiffed punts. It's like 3 blind mice, only whiffed punts. Somehow this rhyme will make sense, except it's not a rhyme. This was not good. This was not good at all. Apparently, Drew may have a skull fracture, which means he's out of Payback. We get Keith versus Orton at Payback. They also mention... Wait a second. I'll actually tell you in a second. They have Asuka and Sasha in a lumberjack match. Not very good. This is a blow-off match at Shayna, Bailey, Natty, Lana. I don't know why Lana was there. Iconics, Liv, Ruby, Mickey, Bianca, all the lumberjacks. I'm sorry if I missed anybody else. Sasha at one point just, dives on Liv and Ruby. We're probably going to get them for the tag titles at some point. Maybe. And then Asuka with the second most violent scissoring I've seen on camera. Let's just say this. It would make that 7-minute long scene in blue as the warmest colors seem like, tame by comparison. So, then Drew's put in an ambulance, a Drewbulance, if you will. It's like experiencing various Drewbulance. So, Keith is apparently one of Drew's best friends, and we just found out now. I'm sure they actually are best friends, but nothing has been said really on TV that I'm aware of. So, please point me in the direction of something if I'm aware. Maybe from the time that Drew worked on the Indies and worked with Keith and was like, oh boy, I really hope they sign Keith Lee. We think of Raw Underground. I'm just going to say this. It's, it was a Hurt Business versus the Viking Raiders. Viking Raiders fucking ruined, blacks versus whites. I mean, hey, you know what? At least they emerged on top. At least there was that. It wasn't like 2003 when Triple H said to Booker T, someone like you could never be champion. People like you are here to make people like me laugh. But no, Triple H is the savior of wrestling. No, he's not. He's not the fucking savior. I'm not going to forgive that goddamn storyline. That was abhorrent. And made me lose respect for Bruce Pritchard because he said it wasn't a racist storyline, you red-faced goddamn son of a bitch. Yeah, it was. The Viking Raiders fucking wrecked. Ray and Dominic versus Rollins and Murphy. The match was fine. Here's what I gotta say about it. Dominic, you know what? Dominic may do well. I don't know. I got nothing really bad to say here. He's fine. Get rid of the hood. I mean, circumcise the boy so he can get rid of his hood. And then... suddenly the group known as Retribution, the group calling themselves Retribution, decides to fucking attack and just, it's obvious one of them is Dominik Dijakovic. It's obvious because he's too fucking tall. I don't care who's in the group. Nothing is going to save this. As much as and once again, just to close this, as much as I shit on, that closing thing of Dynamite, as much as I've shit on the Dark Order at least has some direction. Whether I like the direction or not, at least it's some direction. Retribution doesn't have even one direction. It's not the story of their life. It's a fucking terrible goddamn stable. It's a terrible goddamn group. Whoever came up with it deserves to be slapped repeatedly with some kind of foreign object. I don't know. Get this fucking trash out of here. This isn't wrestling. It's not good. Ray and Dominic get beat up and everything, and Rollins is laughing. Maybe Rollins is the leader of the group known as Retribution. Maybe it's Reigns. Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's Bully Ray. They're going to bring him back, and they're going to recreate the Aces and Eights thing. Please don't do that. Please don't bring back Bully Ray. I don't want to see him on TV ever again. This is a trash episode. This is how you follow up a decent SummerSlam. SmackDown ain't looking much better either because we're getting Reigns versus Fiend versus Braun. Well, actually, it's going to be a contract signing. And then we're going to get Reigns as Universal Champion at Payback, I imagine. But just drop the Retribution stuff. Why was it ever done? Oh, wait, it was done because Vince wanted to please his buddy in the White House. Vince is a goddamn idiot. And so is anybody else that decides to support the goddamn, orange idiot. And I stand by that. And fuck you if you don't like it. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.